Welcome to the podcast. This is Schreiner Athletics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. My name is Jessica, aka Shefica, because I cook both in the kitchen and on the field.
My name is Molly, aka Never Miss Molly.
And my name is Aiden, aka Aiden's Visuals, about to hit 1,500 followers on my photography account.
So I play soccer at Schreiner University, and if you don't know what soccer is, it's basically kicking a ball into the back of a net.
And I participate in rifle, which is separate from shotgun. Just want to point that out. But essentially, I wear fancy clothes and am a fancy paper puncher.
And I play baseball. And if you don't know what baseball is, it's just a fancy way of hitting a ball with a stick.
So why we chose Schreiner in the first place? For me personally, I chose Schreiner because as soon as I stepped foot onto campus, I immediately fell in love with the nature, with the team, everything that Schreiner had to offer. And also it's always been my dream to play college soccer. So Schreiner made that a reality for me.
See, I chose Schreiner for athletics because I learned about them at a larger match and really started researching into them there. I then was able to visit campus, saw the fact that I wanted to grow here. I love the campus, love the team, and then decided to come here.
So I decided to come to Schreiner because I was born and raised in Kerrville, Texas. I moved to Rockport, Fulton for my high school years, and I decided that I would love to come back to the Hill Country because that was just home to me.
So, based on our answers for the rest of the podcast, our challenge to the audience is if you can figure out which of the three of us is going to stay at Schreiner, who's transferring out, and who has quit their sport.
Awesome. So let's go into the first year experience and talk a little bit on how academics is important with that as well. So my first experience, I got here at Schreiner August. We had a nice little fall ball, got to meet the players, and I really had a good sense of I really want to be here. The coach was really nice to me. Felt like a father figure. And then we went through fall ball, had a great time with the people, and then come to spring, it was all right. Once we separated into varsity and JV, that's when it went downhill just a little bit, just because we started getting into our own cliques. But other than that, I really enjoyed the coach, and I thought it wasn't a bad experience.
With my first year experience, I would say that I've had an amazing time here at Schreiner so far. The girls are amazing. Obviously, whenever I came on my visit before I verbally committed, I got to speak with a lot of the girls that were already on the team, and that really set the deal for me, if that makes sense. Because I got to ask them questions that you wouldn't want to ask your coach and just be like, so what is it really like here? You get to ask those deep questions. So I definitely say it was great. And then being in season, being a collegiate athlete is just such like a blessing. And I love it so much. And on the academic side, I just really enjoy how Schreiner and especially the soccer program really pushes, I don't know if it's the same for y'all, but they push student over athlete, which is something that's like very beneficial.
See, I had a similar experience academically. It was always academics first. You are a student first. You are here to be and get your degree. And then you're a collegiate athlete. See, where it's different from your guys' like coach wise and all that stuff, I had an experience where it was a lot of peer coaching. It was definitely an experience to be able to learn from my teammates. We all grew together. Almost every practice, we asked each other questions on how we can improve. And that's how I ended up being able to practice and learn so much from my team. And I definitely it's definitely been an experience with that side of it. Did you guys have to do study hours? Because we did not.
I think it was something like within the realm of 8 to 12 hours of study a week, which was, in my opinion, pretty crazy, but I still got it done anyway.
I think we had to do 5. So it wasn't a lot. It was definitely very manageable. I guess going into it, being like a freshman, I was like, oh gosh, like I have to do 5 study hours on top of all this practice, but it really wasn't a big deal at all.
Gotcha.
I think it's really important for, especially at the D3 level, that we always prioritize academics. And I think that's one of the greatest things that Schreiner does is they push the student first and athlete, because not a lot of us are going to be going to like the MLB and professional soccer and all that. So it's really nice that they push us to get that degree first and then we enjoy our sports.
Another thing I think is very important that I think a lot of us makes or breaks your experience is definitely the coaching. I would say for soccer, my coach is fantastic. He's like my dad. He's basically the dad of our team. He's really tries to get to know you on a personal level. We are required as freshmen to do weekly meetings with him. And I can go in there with the soccer question, just being like, hey, what do you think I need to do better? And we're gonna end the conversation on what my favorite movie is. And I just love how he makes it a great environment for us to not be afraid to ask those kind of scary questions. And if you want to know, hey, why am I not on the field? He will let you know. And he just wants to make sure that you're not scared to go and talk to him. And he really tries to make his environment very open and positive, because a lot of the girls on my team came from negative high school and club coaches who would yell at them, scream at them, just degrade them. And my coach is the complete opposite. He's only there to lift you up, but he will tell you what he needs to tell you if it needs to happen.
That's nice to hear, because on my end, it was a lot of peer coaching. The senior on my team, she's graduating in December, and she, over her course of 4 years, had 5 coaches.
Wow.
So the fact that your coach is involved and makes it a point to get to know you guys is very nice, because with rifle, it's really hard to retain coaches and have coaches that genuinely know what they're doing. Like in high school, I had the sweetest coach known to man. He is very knowledgeable, trained many Olympians. And then coming here, it was a shock to really have a coach that needed to learn alongside me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're ended up there. And that's why we ended up doing so much peer coaching. But I will admit the peer coaching definitely pushed me to be better. It was never a situation where we couldn't help each other, and we were all being competitive for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. We wanted to help, not degrade. So
Awesome. In my experience, I thought that I had a really good coach. Like compared to you, also, I had, I would say, a father figure. When I first came to my visits, he made it feel like home. And honestly, there's not much of, I didn't really have any problems with him, especially compared to my high school coach. He really made me feel like I belonged on a team. Now, I would like to get into a little bit of assistant coaches, because I think as much as they had a great personality, I just think the assistant coaches didn't do much for me, and they just focused on their own things with the main players, like with the upper players on the, and they just didn't focus on us, which kind of sucked, but I still had a really good coach for my head coach, and I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, it just coaching can really make or break the experience. And I guess sometimes it's a little defeating to come from a great coaching environment to a bad one. And then it's a great thing when you go from a bad one to a good one. Because my club coach used to call me a lemon.
You don't look like a lemon.
no.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then another thing that always makes or break a team is teammates. Because I know personally, if I didn't have the teammates I had here, it would have been a whole different experience. Like there was times we got pretty snippy with each other because of how often we were on the road or traveling to go to matches. We still looked out for each other. It was always a situation where there's not a time where you can't talk to another person on our team. Because if you have an issue, it's one of those say it plain. Don't pretend like there's not a problem. Just say it plain and figure it out, hash it out. And I definitely think I love my team because we are so very open and honest with each other.
I would say out of the entire Schreiner experience for me, for being an athlete, my biggest, I would say thing that hurt me in that was my teammates part. So as a freshman with 90 people on a baseball roster, we have a lot of teammates. So I was on the JV with around probably 65 other people, which a lot of people, but they treated me pretty nice. The freshmen treated me pretty nice. And I enjoyed that part, but whenever I tried to interact with like varsity players, it got clicky, especially with so many people. So when we got into that little clique area, people are like, "Oh, we don't talk to you. Like you're not a part of us. Like you're basically a completely different team." And that was a big deal breaker for me with this whole situation was they just separate all into different groups and that kind of sucked.
Yeah, going off of the click thing, I would say my high school experience in soccer was definitely very clicky, but coming to Schreiner, the girls on my team really made it an effort to make sure that everyone was one big family. Coming in as a freshman, you're going to be scared to talk to the juniors and the seniors because they're older than you and they're a bit scary. But it wasn't that way. I guess coming in, I just had that preset notion of these girls aren't going to want to talk to me like I'm a freshman coming in, but it was the complete opposite of that. They really make sure that we're all hanging out. There's no issues and there's no groups. It's not like these people talk to these people and these people only talk to these people. But my teammates have definitely made my experience what it was. Some of these girls that I'm like now friends with, I can see them coming to my wedding. That's how close we've gotten in such a short amount of time, which is crazy to think about. But like the girls on my team have been nothing but supportive of and positive in everything that I do on the field.
Awesome. I would say going off of that, I would like to just get all of y'all's likes and dislikes from like the program, a pros and cons list. Just let me know what you like and dislike about this program.
So I would say my top likes, I would definitely say about the soccer program is the team dynamic and our chemistry is just off the charts. I have never felt as close to a team as I have before. And another thing is definitely, as I'd spoken about before, is the coaching style. My coach does a very good job of laying things out in front of you because a lot of us are visual learners. So it helps to draw things out on a whiteboard or move some magnets around and just demonstrate what it all is. And then on the Schreiner side of things, I absolutely love how small Schreiner is. I came from a high school with a graduating class of about 840 kids, which is crazy. And so for Schreiner to only have a total student population of about 13 to 1400, it feels so small here. And I get to know my professors and I get to see the same people in class throughout every semester. And so I just love like being very connected with the community that I didn't get in high school.
See, that's just polar opposite of what I had. I'm from rural Montana where our graduating class was 12. So the fact that your class is over 800 kids is just a novelty to me. So moving here was a situation where this is a bigger town to me. It's not your Walmart's 15 minutes away versus 45. That was a shock to move to, but with the whole likes and dislikes thing, obviously it's a really small campus. I really enjoyed the fact that you have that ability to talk to your professors, get to know them, and that they understand the fact that you are also an athlete. That is something that is very positive about Schreiner, that your professors understand that you're also there to be an athlete and they will work with you on your schedule. And I don't know if you guys had that, but I definitely did these past 2 semesters.
Absolutely.
And I really enjoyed the teamwork. Obviously, again, the peer coaching, everybody worked together to help one another. And then the flexibility, we had the ability to have 2 practices. So one in the morning and one in the evening, because I know one of my teammates, she always had work because she's paying for her schooling right now. So the fact that we were able to have multiple times to practice made it to where she could also practice with us at some point. We were not excluding people from practice. And then understanding that you're a student first really just hammered in the fact that I like this school because of it. That was a big thing for me.
So the big like for Schreiner University to me is how it's not like Texas A&M where you have a graduating class of a couple thousand. our graduating class is going to be pretty short or pretty small. And I also just like it because it just feels like home to me. I grew up here my entire life. My sister went to Schreiner University as well. So I have family lineage here. And I was like, absolutely. Like, this is somewhere I want to be. I also really liked my coach. As much as a program, we didn't win a ton of games, but he also just he made it feel like family between me and him. I would say just like for dislikes, it was just like the clicky parts of the teams that like were really awful towards me. And then another dislike to me was our program did an insane amount of fundraising. Like we did more fundraising than baseball. And as a NCAA program, I was like, why aren't we practicing as much as we're fundraising? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say really the big dislike for me isn't really even a dislike about the program. It's just, I guess, a dislike of being an athlete or a collegiate athlete in general is just the workload. Being in season, practicing 4 days a week with two games a week and 1 day off. It's a lot of pressure. And then while taking 15 to 18 hours of classes on top of that, it does get a lot. So I would just say, as the kind of season was wearing on and you're getting tired and coursework is starting to get harder moving towards finals, I would definitely say it was a lot to keep on top of everything. But I would say as the for the soccer program itself, there isn't anything that I really dislike about it.
See, my only big dislikes for the rifle program here were the fact that there was a lack of coaching, like from a higher, like mentor type area. Just the fact that we have had so many coaches, it feels like we haven't had a really stable program. And then there are points in the season, since you are so close, it becomes really uneasy to talk to each other when you're stuck in a hotel room, three of you to a room, and it's just the close contacts weekend after weekend. It really just starts to eat at you a bit, if that's the best way I could put it. Nothing's going to deter me from wanting to do my sport. In high school, I drove an hour to get to practice every week, 4 nights a week. I'm not going to be deterred to do my sport. And I feel like the dedication really outweighed the dislikes, because I don't know if your guys' end, if high school ever really affected it, and the fact that I feel that I'm very dedicated to my sport, and I feel like both of you, getting to know you guys, this is something that you guys you're dedicated. You're
Yes.
here.
Yeah, the dedication for sure is something that came as a result through high school soccer. Though high school soccer, it's a team of girls. There's gonna be drama. Things are gonna happen. It's just life, and we're also teenagers, so that's gonna happen. But through high school soccer and through club soccer, I really just found my dedication for the sport. And if I didn't love it already, just growing up around soccer I was basically kicking a ball since I came out the womb. That's like my dad's mission. I was like a project to be a soccer player. But high school definitely, like you said, just helped push that dedication forward.
So off of you, my high school experience and all that, like I've been hitting a baseball since I was like 3. Parents put me in, thought it'd be a good idea, and I just took it and went on with it. And I always had the dream since then to play collegiate sports. And in high school, my coach made sure that he was going to be hard on me like a college coach to make sure that I'm prepared for it. And he did a really good job at that. I would say I was hardened enough to be able to be like, okay, I can do this. I know what's going on. And I really appreciate that from him. And he told me from the beginning that it takes dedication and it's extremely hard to even get up to the levels that we did. And I think that's commendable for all of us as well.
So I definitely think, like, in high school, I started really late for my sport. There are a couple high school teammates that didn't start until they started at 8 years old, and I started my freshman year. So the fact that I even made it to D3 collegiate level was something that I'm very proud of myself for. And I feel like all three of us should be very proud of the fact that we made it this far. I think that obviously our high school experiences are all like so different, but that
Mhm.
we all can demonstrate the fact that we love our sports. And then I kind of want to talk about like our whys on why we want to do this sport. Why do you want to do baseball? Why do you want to do soccer? Why do I want to do rifle? So if you guys,
So my why, I was very much at the beginning motivated by my parents. They thought I had the talent to do it, and I've never had any siblings. So I have 3 older siblings, and they never got to do college sports. So that was also a motivation. I was like, I want to be the one person in my family that did college sports. And that was like a big motivating factor. And I did it. I definitely did it. And they were very proud of me. But I eventually, after they wanted me to do it, I wanted to do it myself more. I took that and it lit a fire under me.
I would say for my why, I should have prefaced this earlier, but I'm not from this country. I was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I moved here whenever I was 5 years old. And my family ended up getting our green cards after a couple of years of living here. And whenever it was rounding the time about my junior year, right before the SAT, before that time, my parents sat me down and were like, okay, what's our plan? Because I wanted to play soccer in college, but I also had the option to go back to Scotland to go to schooling for free. And the only issue with I had my offers at different schools in Schreiner. And the thing was, is if I decided to stay here, my parents would have to have paid the international student fee. So my parents ended up getting their citizenship in part to make school more affordable for me and so I could follow my dream. So though it has been my dream my whole life to play soccer in college, it also my parents going through that long process for me to pursue my dream really just set it in for me that like I wanted to make them proud. And so being here and being a part of such like an amazing program and getting to basically play the sport I love with my best friends every single day. It's I'm making my parents proud while also fulfilling my dream. So I couldn't ask for anything more in life.
see, I feel like all three of us have the family connection of why we want to play our sport and why we want to do this. Because I've been shooting with my dad since 4 years old, but I didn't start competitively until my freshman year of high school. But it was the thing that when you go and do competitions and stuff, my dad and my mom would go with me. And it was the fact that I had them supporting me. It pushed me to want to actually try and be a collegiate athlete and show them that I could do it. I'm my parents' only child. My mom has multiple sclerosis, so she wasn't able to have another child. And so I put this pressure on myself that I didn't mean to, that I want to be the best I can so my mom can look back and be like, wow, the one kid I could have did the best she could. And so that's really where that's the whole reason why I did this, is to say, look, I did this. My parents can be proud, and overall to benefit my education and my family. So they can see the fact that, yep, my grandparents can look, my grandkid did this, my daughter did this. It's something that my little cousins can look up to. I want to be the role model, and I want to be able to say, yep, I did this.
I love how much like our families have to do with our sports, which is why it brings me to that point of why playing sports is worth it at all. So for me, I can't imagine my life without sports. Sports is so worth it. I over the summer and over the past 2 years before college, I coached youth soccer, and it was so much fun getting to put that joy in like the next generation and just discover kids really enjoying like sports, and it's so beneficial for you in so many ways, mentally, physically. You make lifelong best friends. So for me, playing sports is worth it because it just lays the foundation for your life, and there's just countless life lessons and connections that you make from it.
Do you feel like, did you ever travel at all for soccer and make friends there where you have?
Yeah.
Because I know for rifle, they're seeing as I'm from Montana, we have 2 or 3 matches there, and then everything else is national. So I've gone to Ohio, all around Texas this year, Utah, Alabama for Junior Olympics. You meet people That's why, like you were talking about why sports are beneficial is you get to meet people, you make connections. And that's really one huge benefit about it. And then also the fact that you learn to be a team, you learn to work with people, you learn to really just grow, not as yourself, but as a part of a whole. And that's really like why it's beneficial for me.
Yeah, I'd say one of the tasks that I get assigned with is talking to a lot of the incoming recruits. And it's always really cool to talk to them, get to know them, and then ask them where they're from. And there's been at least 4 or 5 of them have been like, I recognize you from somewhere. And then we have a conversation, and it turns out that we played against each other in a tournament in San Antonio 3 years ago. And I'm just like, that's crazy. So it's just cool just being like how a sport connects so many people across so many different states and countries.
I would definitely say, relating to that, I've met a lot of people, especially on travel ball. I play like all 4 years of high school, and there's so many people that I've met that I'll be like, "Do I know you?" And they're like, "Yes, we played against each other." And I always thought that was really cool. I think in general, sports is always worth it. I think playing is definitely very important to do, but if you don't play it, I think you should just be connected in general in some form of way, whether that be one day you have kids and put them in sports and connect with parents, whether that be you go coach a little league team, whether that be you go pick up a camera. I just think no matter what, you should be connected with sports, because outside of the competition part, you're going to meet people that you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
I really agree with that because I know personally with my parents traveling with me to matches, we've made my mom's made her best friends at matches. Like they talk on the phone every day, and I'm so good. I'm good friends with her kids, and it's just sports really is just very beneficial for almost everybody.
It brings people together, in my opinion.
Especially in being at Schreiner University, you have so many athletes with so many different backgrounds, but it's just cool to see that, you know, again, the majority of our campus is athletes, and just to get to hear different stories is just something that really pushes like sports is worth it.
Absolutely. Going into this, would you like to identify if you have stayed with your sport or transferring, or did you leave your sport?
So if it wasn't obvious, I am staying at Schreiner University. I love this program with my whole heart. I can't imagine my life any other way apart from playing soccer with these girls. I love everything about Schreiner, the community, the soccer aspect, and getting to see the deer is really a big one for me.
The best part. Best part's
I've
the
never
deer.
seen a fox before Kerrville.
That's just amazing me because I grew up where it's deer every morning. You drive 20 minutes and there's elk, moose run in our yard. We had a bear break into our garage one year.
Wow.
It's just like
Culture shock.
yeah, a little bit
because Houston is a concrete landia, basically. I think the most diverse wildlife I've seen is a pigeon and a squirrel. That's about it.
See, Montana doesn't have many squirrels, so coming down here to that was honestly so much fun.
So you stayed with your sport. You?
I am choosing to transfer due to the fact that I am looking for better coaching. I'm looking for a bigger opportunity. So I have decided to transfer and go D1 next year. It's been fun, but it's also, thank you. It's been fun, but financially, I cannot stay here. And if I want to grow in my sport, I need to be looking at other opportunities. And luckily, I found a home for next year.
And through Schreiner, you realized that. So I guess that's another thing that Schreiner gave you, is that realization that you need to go somewhere else.
It definitely showed that, like, I love it. I love the team. I love the people. It's just the rifle program is definitely needing some help. It needs to grow a lot more. And I feel like I've helped it as much as I can this year. And right now I got to look out. I hate to be selfish, but I got to kind of look out for my growth and my financial stability after this and where I'm going to get my degree. And that's what led me to enter the transfer portal. And then events after that also really solidified the fact that I need to be looking at other options.
And if you couldn't tell, I decided to stay at Schreiner but leave my sport. I absolutely love this campus. I just The Schreiner experience for baseball just wasn't what I thought it would be. And I decided to stay in sports. I now run most of Schreiner University's media team. So I became a big part in the sports media world there, and I really enjoy it every single day. And I also get to connect with other sports too. So, not just baseball, I get to go to every single sport and help out in the best way I can and make connections with people.
So, thank you so much for tuning in to Schreiner Athletics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm Jessica.
I'm Molly.
I'm Aiden.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.